UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak recently made adjustments to Britain's plans to combat climate change. In a notable change, he announced a decision to delay the ban on sales of new petrol cars. While Sunak said he remains committed to the legally binding target of achieving net zero emissions by 2050, he believes that Britain is already ahead of other countries in terms of progress. Sunak believes that slower progress can be made towards the net zero target. This because of Britain's current position as a leader in environmental initiatives. Now, by delaying the ban on new petrol cars, Sunak aims to maintain the consent of the British people during the transition to a net zero economy. Sunak said he was going to amend the policy as previous governments have taken quick decisions in setting new zero targets, and that too without winning public support.
And when our share of global emissions is less than 1%, how can it be right that British citizens are now being told to sacrifice even more than others? Because the risk here, for those of us who care about reaching net zero, as I do, is simple. If we continue down this path, we risk losing the consent of the British people.
Sunak's approach to reaching the net zero targets by 2050 comes with a delay on the ban on new petrol and diesel cars from 2030 to 2035. Sunak said the delay is to ease the unacceptable costs on British households from energy transition. Sunak talked about how he would ease the transition to heat pumps from gas boilers in homes, as some of the policies impose a direct cost on consumers as well.
So I'm announcing today that we will give people far more time to make the necessary transition to heat pumps. We'll never force anyone to rip out their existing boiler and replace it with a heat pump. You'll only ever have to make the switch when you're replacing your boiler anyway, and even then, not until 2035. And to help those households for whom this will be the hardest, I'm introducing a new exemption today so that they will never have to switch at all.
With this net zero plan, UK was the first major economy to create a legally binding target to bring greenhouse gas emissions to net zero by 2050. UK's Home Secretary says the country needs to take a pragmatic approach to reaching net zero.
The Prime Minister is taking an approach of pragmatism and proportionality when it comes to delivering our net zero commitments. It's right that he assesses the issue as a whole, taking into account people's bank balances, livelihoods, the way that they are living their lives and the cost of living challenges that many families around the country are facing. And ultimately, we're not going to save the country by bankrupting the British people.
Now, the UK Prime Minister is facing criticism from all directions. Former COP26 President Alok Sharma has warned that this move will not help economically or electorally the cause of any political party. Further, climate experts are saying that the UK's potential rollback on green policies suggests the government has no meaningful plan to reach its net zero targets by 2050. Now, this along with damage to investor confidence in the UK economy as well.
Thank you, Executive Secretary.
But also it's incredibly damaging to investor confidence. And if you're a business now looking to invest in heat pumps or electric vehicles, there's a big question mark about why you'd put your money here when we haven't got any long-term policy stability or any leadership.